I got you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us today on the third workshop of the Operation Feed the Nation Challenge. Week one, we talked about leafy vegetables. Week two, we talked about fruity vegetables. And week three, now we have a phenomenal guest with us. He is the CEO of Greenfeed Farms Nigeria Limited. He's Mr. Tafiuk Oluwasegun, aka Mr. Green. With his outfit, you already know that he's representing agriculture, representing Nigeria, representing the farm. He's the aka Gen Z slash millennial farmer. Mr. Green, thank you so much for joining us today on today's section. And today we're going to be talking about how to grow your own herbs and spice in your home. Specifically, we're going to be talking about scent leaf, basil, thyme, mint made easy. So, Mr. Tafiu, you can definitely take it away for us.
Yeah, thank you. My name is you can also call me Green, and I carry on for it. Yeah, I'm a landscape horticulturist. I'm a plant that has production. Yes. Um, what I do is life is fun. You can be fun. You can be growing plants, then also be having fun, and be vibing with it and make it sellable, make it buyable, or make it relatable. Yes, you don't have to be rigid as a farmer. So that has been the drive, and I want, as much as possible, plenty youth to be interested in agriculture, to be interested in farming, and to be interested in home gardening, backyard farming. You can grow things in your house, and you can harvest. So today we're going to be talking about herbs and spices. That's one of my area of specialization. I love spices. I love herbs. Yes, they are so easy to grow. They are very easy to grow. I think the word very should be there. I think they are one of the easiest class of plant to grow. Not even the fruit and veggies of they kind of have their own wahala. But herbs and spices, they grow even with little water. They do very well. So let's get to it already. Home gardening and herbs and spices. First of all, let's differentiate herbs and spices. That's let's get acquainted with herbs. When you hear herbs, when you hear spice, what's the difference? The major difference between the two is herbs, or they are leafy. They most of the time is the leaves you harvest, and you use them fresh. Whereas spices, they you can use the roots, you can use the stem, you can use the flower, you can use the fruits, the dry. Most of the time they are in dry form. Example of herbs or rosemary, thyme, basil, mint, oregano, stevia, and so on. And the example of spice, they are the ones that you use the roots on the stem, the dry stem, the bark, and so example of that is um, cinnamon, is ginger, is turmeric, is your chili pepper, that's paprika, or your cumin, then what's the name? Chamomile is there too. Chamomile, you can use chamomile can be placed under herbs and spice. Yes, because you can use the leaves of chamomile, then you can use the flowers too, the seeds. Then cilantro. Cilantro is also coriander. Some people don't know. When they are buying things, they're like, oh, okay, coriander is in your list. No, I didn't order for coriander. It's cilantro. I put cilantro and coriander, they are the same. So cilantro too is an herbs and also is a spice because you use cilantro seeds. So herbs are like specifically leafy, the leaf you use, and then most of the time you use them fresh. Whereas the spices and the one at least the atta and co, the black pepper, and so they are the one you can use the seed, the bark, the root, and what have you. Most of the time you use them fresh. Sorry, you use them in the dry form. So basic requirement into growing herbs and spices, just have your basic tools. If you want to grow on the land, you can grow on the land, you can grow in buckets. I've always preached that. If you don't have a landed space in your house, maybe everywhere is interlocked, you can still grow your plants. So you need like a container or a space to plant. Definitely, the first thing in agriculture, the most important thing in plant world is water. I've always told people, not even soil. You can do soilless farming, whereas you use rice bran, you use or some compost, and so that they are not necessarily soil products. Then you can use hydroponic too, that you plant on water. Water is the most important thing. Even when you plant on soil, you need water. So you need water. Then you need your tools like maybe your scissors, your hand trowel, and what have you, your watering can, and so those are the things that you need. One thing I try to do is I try to make people to grow farm in the simplest way. You don't need to have big money for you to be able to grow things. Yes, I happen to be a son of a farmer, so I understand the fact that you can do big thing without spending plenty money. So that is why I always advise use a broken container, use spent container, and what have you. So you don't need to go and buy sophisticated irrigation equipment. If you have your buckets that you can use to water, you can even grow in sacks, cement sacks. So these are the basic things that you need. And the main thing again is your interest. You need to be interested in growing plants. You need to be ready. You want to try, be quite sure that you're going to fail. One of the requirements is that have it at the back of your mind that you're going to kill your plants. Then you buy again. You do so. At any point in time, if you are growing, you can grow more than a plant. It makes you learn. If this one is reacting this way, this one might be doing well. If the two of them might be reacting, or three of them, so you learn, you kill them. Those are the requirements, your interest. So steps to get started, first of all, be interested, have the zeal, have the passion, know what you want to grow. You can't grow everything. So those are the steps. Know what you want to start with. You're not saying, no, I want to start farming or gardening, then you want to start everything. Get acquainted. At least let something introduce you. You take the steps. Like, okay, oh, this is what I want to start with. And what's the first step you take? Procuring seedlings. If you want to grow maybe basil, you want to grow efirin, which is a scent leaf, or that's a ocimum gratissimum, that's botanical name. If you want to grow it, the first thing is for you to get seeds or seedlings, as the case may be. So these are the things. Get your container ready, get a good soil ready, and what have you. Next slide, please. Thank you. Benefit of growing herbs and spices. This is supposed to come like quite back, but I just want to discuss it here, and so that I can still bring it back later on. Benefits: you can get fresh harvest from your home, or you can use it for tea, for so many things, for tincture. All these things, they are very beneficial to the body. So these are the gross benefits, and you can use it for perfumery if you're using growing plants like um what's the name of this plant? Most of like lavender has very good flavor when you scent lavender, and it's so easy to grow. Like Lipia arbor, there's a plant I spoke about on my page. Lipia arbor, some people call it catnip. It's not catnip, and it's Lipia arbor. It's a is an herb too. So you can grow it. It has very good flavor. That plant is therapeutic, if you ask me. So even if you are vexing, if you sniff that plant, that vexing will go. Honestly speaking, it's like it gives you that like, and rosemary has good scent, and thyme has a mild smell. Then mint, yes, very nice. Lemon balm has very great smell. So all these things, their flavor alone, and when you boil them, use them to make tea. They make your tea to scent so nice. So you can use them fresh. You can use them dry. You can dry your thyme, yes, air dry it. You need to put it under the sun. Then you use it to make tea, and you don't need to go out every time and buy the sachets or tea, the Lipton, and so on. All these ones you can use them, and you can even use a natural sweetener, stevia, to sweeten your plants. So when you grow in all these things, it reduces your cost. It doesn't make you to run outside every time. Let me go and buy this tea stuff. Let me go and buy this spice, and so on. So you can grow all these things in your house, and it makes you to spend less money. Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, they are easy to maintain. these plants are easy to maintain. Unlike some plants like a bell pepper, like some greenhouse produce, beef tomato, that one is a cuttist. It's so hard to grow because when you face challenges like or bacterial wilting, tutor, and so they are very hard to grow. But herbs and spices, they are very easy to grow. Trust me, they are one of the easiest plants. They even have a antiseptic. That means they don't even allow disease to thrive on their body. You can use them to combat diseases on other plants. Yes, you can even use them, crush them, get their solvents. You use them to combat diseases in other plants. So they are easy to grow, easy to maintain, easy to maintain. You don't need to water every day. Like I've always told people when I talk about plants, about herbs and spices, you don't need to water every day. Water your herbs and spices like every other day, or you can water 1 day on, 2 day off, then the third day. I mean, okay, the fourth day. That means you water on Monday, you skip Tuesday and Wednesday, then you water on Thursday. You can do that. That's like 3 times a week. But ideal watering regime should be like 1 day on, 1 day off. Unless you're in the far north, like in Meduguri, like Sokoto, where the sun is scorching, when it's so, the intensity of the sun is so high, and you know you need to leave your plants outside. Herbs and spices they like to be in full sun or at least partial shade, not exclusive shade. You are doing your plants more harm than good when you keep them in exclusive shade. So you keep your plants under full sun. I'll probably talk about this a little bit more like as we go on, but put your plants under full sun, then water them every other day. If you are in far north, then that's when you can be watering your plants every day. And again, plants that are inside pots, they take more attention than plants on the ground. If you put your plants on the ground now and you travel like a week, you might not have had a major thing happening to that plant. So why? Because there's something they call capillary action in the soil, that soil are connected. If your plant does not, I mean, like the immediate environment does not have soil, there's a movement of water, most especially in early in the morning, in the night, that the root of your plant will still be able to get some water. So it's still going to be turgid. But plants that are inside pots, it's like you've disconnected them from the earth. They are a colony on their own. They are an entity. They are independent. So if they don't get water, they will suffer. So you give your plants in the pot more attention than the plants on the ground. So plants on the pots, water them every other day. Good. That's herbs and spices. But for the ones on the ground, you can even water them once or twice a week. They will still be fine. Know your plant. Know what works for you. If your soil is sandy loamy, you know might want to water more often. If your soil is more clayey, you want to take your time because it retains water more. So definitely, herbs and spices. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I'm not doing justice to talking about these things enough. They have a lot of work. You can use them to do perfume. When you add them to your food, if you add rosemary to your food, like the way it's going to be scenting, all these chefs, they do magic with it. Like you perceive it, the aroma, it will be so flavorful. Everywhere will be saturated with good flavors. So if you know how to play around turmeric, ginger, garlic, rosemary, thyme, what's the name? Lavender, and you use them the right way, your food will be scenting. Your neighbor will just be, do you know, they will be sniffing your food like, oh my God, do you get? So you can use them to, for industries, they use them to make perfume, at least perfumery, ointment, and so on and so forth. So that's for industry, but for you at home, and that's what we're talking about. When you grow your plant in your backyard, it's only when you are growing in large quantity that you might want to sell to big companies for them to use to make perfume, or for them to dry it and they'll package it and they'll sell it out. That's value addition. You can do that too. So they are very flavorful, so they are good for fragrance, and they add flavor to your food, and even to your tea. Next slide. Okay, so common herbs that we grow. Common herbs or the basil. This is the one some people call scent leaf, or some people call it um I think scent leaf. Right? No, no. Some people call basil scent leaf. It's not really scent leaf. what's the Yoruba name? I don't know any Yoruba name they call it. It's just basil. The scent leaf is basil and scent leaf. They are in the same genre. Like when it comes to grouping plants, you have the family, class, and so on. You have the genera, then you have the species. Yes, they're in the same genus. Sorry, genus. Basil, that's Ocimum. Basil is Ocimum basilicum. The scent leaf is not here. Scent leaf. Igbo people call it Ishan. Yoruba people call it efirin. That one is Ocimum gratissimum. Ocimum basilicum. That's basil. Ocimum gratissimum. That is all. Efirin. Why I'm talking about this is I just want to differentiate the two so that you know, so that you'll be able to know the difference between the two. Basil and scent leaf. Yes. So basil have different types. You have the normal basil, the flat leaf basil, the American basil, the Thai basil, and different kind of basil. So that's why when you go to market, some people will be like, okay, oh, this scent leaf, not this one, not this big leaf, is a small leaf. Is this one like they interchange the name? But the main thing is you knowing what you're growing and the same method of growing. So it's nothing so serious, just same method of growing. And on the mint leaf, everybody knows mint leaf. Under the mint leaf, there are so many types of mint leaf. We have peppermint, we have chocolate mint, we have orange mint, or we have the normal mint. Do you get? So many types of mint, and we have rosemary. I don't know. I call this the king of of spices, like because it's easy to grow and at the same time it's hard to grow. That's rosemary. And the propagation of all these things are simple. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Rosemary, after rosemary, and then we have oregano. We have oregano. It's still the same list. Oregano, the Cuban oregano. We have Cuban oregano. Then we have Italian oregano. Great health benefit, and they are both easy to grow. Yes, Cuban oregano, like a lot of people time you see, is the one at the extreme right in the slide that you just saw. They are at the right side. You know, we have right, center, that's all lavender. The one at the left, that one is Thyme. Sorry that the graphics is not so bold, but I hope we can all see that. So Cuban oregano, like a lot of people they use it. They said it reduces their uh, blood sugar level. It makes you, for people that have hypertension, it kind of like normalize your your heart, the way it works. It normalizes the hypertension. Then for people that have ulcer, at least it reduce the effect. So many times you see people sorting after it, and that plant happens to be one of the most rugged plants in the world. So I advise people whenever you want to start growing herbs or growing plants generally, you might want to start with this Cuban oregano. I call it the unkillable, the undieable plant. You can neglect that plant, it will be doing very well on its own. Do you get? And only by stem cutting is growing. I don't want to talk about propagation yet. I know we're gonna get there. Yeah, parsley. Parsley is in the list. We have celery. We have stevia. We have there. And I can't put everything here. They are quite plenty. Stevia. We have coriander. We have they just the numbers are plenty. They are gross. Yes, they are gross. So that's chives is there to fennel, dew, and so on. They are in the list. They are part of herbs, and they are growing. It's simple, so simple. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, the common spices, like I said, they are the plants that you use the other parts, not necessarily the leafy part, the leaf, and then you can use them dry. You know, you can dry your ginger and use it. The flavor will still come out, right? Your turmeric, the same thing. Turmeric, ginger, they are rhizomes. They are from the root part, rhizome of the plant. They are under, beneath the head cross. Yes, they are not the leafy part. Garlic, also the same thing, is under. Garlic is like onion. You know how onion grows, right? That's how garlic grows, like onion. The same under. When you plant one, then that one will now swell up, then give birth to so many that do now turn to be a ball. Do you get? That's how you grow garlic. Chili pepper, yes. That's how you chili pepper is like normal pepper, the way you grow your pepper. Yeah, that's how you grow your chili pepper. That's how it looks. It's just that it's long and it is hot. Chili pepper was bred for the hotness. It's hot. It's very pungent. It's hot. It's hot. When you sniff it, it's hot. That's what chili pepper. All these ones are spices. We have cinnamon too. We have cardamom. Harvest the back of the plant. The back. When you see cinnamon now, if you are buying in the market, is the stick that they sell to you. They sell to you. There's a plant, so they now remove the back, then dry it. That's what gives that flavor. Some people use it in tincture. They use it to boil and tea. Some use it. They grind it. They use it to make different kind of powders and so add to food, add to drinks and so on because they have great health benefits, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic in your body. There's so many herbs and spices. Is a world of plant that you want to delve into because they have great health benefit, a lot of beneficial actions to your body. So the picture on the screen is a collicule. Um, then that's up left. That's collicule. Like I will talk about it a little. Collicule is one of the most potent leafy cruciferous vegetable. That's headless. Headless. It doesn't form head like cabbage, like broccoli, and it has is very potent because contain is one of the vegetables that contains the largest amount of vitamin A. So that's a collicule. You don't joke with it. Collicule, very good, and then it's easy to grow, and it's a perennial. It's a plant that can stay for years. When you plant it now, it can stay for 2 3 years. Then it's a perennial. It can stay as long as you can take care of it. Well, I don't think it can stay up to 5 years. It probably get so tall, taller than you at that time. It could, if you care for it well, but most of the time it's like 2 3 years before it dies. Yeah, it could stay more than 3 years. And the one at the right down, sorry, left down, that's mint leaf. You see the way I'm upcycling that red cup that some people used to do dorime. You don't need to do the only thing that you can do with that cup is not only dorime. When you finish drinking with it, then you perforate it on that, then you plant inside. That's mint leaf. Doing very well. So this is our seedlings that are meant to be sold to you. Then when you buy this, then you now find a bigger pot, then you plant it inside, then your mint establish. And the slide, I think we have time to in the picture. Then I think rosemary is there too in the picture. So those are herbs. We don't have much picture of the spices, but everybody knows ginger. We all know turmeric. We all know garlic. We all know chili pepper. Then cinnamon, cardamom. We buy those. I mean the back that we use them. Then we buy coriander or cilantro. Then we buy I know chamomile. So the rosemary that we're manuring. Next slide. If the need be, we might have to visit this particular video again here for your spices. Next slide, please. Okay, growing tips or choosing the right container, ensure adequate sunlight, maintain proper watering, use well drained soil. One of the reasons I don't want to talk about like everything like as I just want to once I get to that section so that I'll be able to talk about it holistically. I've actually mentioned most of these things like as I've spoken. Choose the right container. How do you know the right container to choose? Let me tell you. I don't want to say the bigger the container, the better. That's very much for fruits, but just use a moderate size of container. Let's say something like your 20-liter bucket. Yeah, that should be able to grow any herbs you want to grow, not spices. Any herbs you want to grow. If you add something smaller, maybe 15 liter, 10 liters is good. 5 liters will be good for you to keep that plant for some time. Yes, what plants do, let me tell you secret of plants. Most of the time, plants tends to respond to the containers you put them in. So what I tell people is that take it this way: when you have a plant that has good broad trace, big on top, if you check the under, it is established, it is big too. So when you choose a small container for your plant, what you're telling the plant is that don't grow too much. Do you get? But if you choose a bigger container, you expect the roots to network and fill the container. The roots that fill
Are you there? We can't hear you at the moment. Check if you're on mute because we can't hear you. We can't hear you. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Yeah, I can see you. I can't hear you. You want to check your mic? Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay. Speak now. Let me see if I can hear you. Are you speaking? Try to probably log out and come back in because we can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's mute. Okay. So, guys, please just bear with us. I think he's having a bit of network challenge. But whilst he's away, I could definitely play out some of the gardening videos he had shared with us that you could definitely learn from before he comes back. I think that's like seedlings. So, maybe that's time. Just in case you don't know time, that's time. This is the, I think this is parsley. Okay, actually, that's rosemary. And that's onion seed. Yeah, he shared a couple of videos with us that we'll definitely share when he comes back as well. We have a couple of videos, already made videos that he had shared with us that I believe that every participants would definitely learn from. We'll definitely share those videos again. I think I want to put those videos up whilst we're waiting for him to reconnect. Thank you so much for your patience, and I hope that you're learning so much more during this session on how to grow your own herbs and spice. Uh, Personally, growing up, I think one of the things that we had at the backyard of our house was, I don't know if there's an English name for it, but something they call scent leaf. Um, I'm Beanie by trying, and so we still use that's a huge constraint for soup. Okay, he's back now. We can hear you
hear me now.
loud and clear. Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is
All right,
one
that's
thing about technology about that. I no
it's
break in
fine.
transmission.
It's fine. You can
Okay,
continue.
so growing choosing the right container, like I said, react to the container that they are planted in. That's what if you know bonsai, there's a class of plant that they call bonsai. You see a plant that is like 10 years, 20 years, a tree to be this small. Then if you check the container it is put in, the container is actually very small because they don't want the roots to grow very fast and they establish. If you put them in a big container, the roots will grow very fast and they establish. But if you put them in a small container, the roots will grow very slow and they will not establish. So that is why you see a lot of
I
if
think
you
there's
go
a
mango
bit
tree
of
that
network
has very
difficulties as
big
well. Um,
oh
just hearing you talk about bonsai for plants, that's totally out of this world. Even plants experience bonsai effect. Wow, wow. An environment can limit the growth of a plant.
container, at least you can put a bigger one.
Hmm.
So that to choose a moderate size of container, very small container, be in no in a year or two, you will change to a bigger container. So come with a moderate size of container from the beginning if you can do that. Something like you can plant in cement bag. The only thing about that is that it will wear and tear on time. You can choose, like there was a time I planted in bathtub, a bathtub that they used to bath. Like uh, is abandoned, is old, is spoiled. Then I put soil inside and I plant there. You can plant in anything, provided it can contain soil and it can be wooden, it can be earth material, it could be plastic, it could be uh if it is metal, that one there are clauses on that, but you can plant there too, even if the container is like metal. Do you get it? It's better if it's painted and the inside is coated so that the iron rust does not have a direct impact on the roots of your plants. Yes. So ensure adequate sunlight. Your plants should be in exclusive sunlight. That's all for herbs and spices. They are not indoor plants. Yes, they are not indoor. If you put them indoor, it doesn't make the plant to scent well. It reduces the pungency of the scent. It reduces that plant, the greenness. Instead of it to be entirely green, to now be pale green. Most especially your rosemary. Then if you touch it, instead of it to be thick, the leaf will now be light. That's even if it's doing well. So if you keep a plant under a shade and you put another one under the sun, the one under the sun probably will have gone like in a year, might have gone to like more than a foot before you know the other one will have food that is under the shade will be struggling to even get that. So it is better for you to have your plants in full sun, full sun. They do better, they grow better there, and everything work very fine for them there. They maintain proper watering. I've spoken about watering. Water every other day. That's the ideal watering. Unless you are in the far north that you might want to be watering every day. If you are in the rainy season, you don't need to water your plants. Rain comes like once every day or like every other day or like maybe one might fall on Monday, then Wednesday, another one might fall on Thursday. So you don't need to water your herbs and spices, both the ones in container or the ones on the ground. Just let them be playing under the rain. They will do well. Just make sure that your soil is well drained. If you put your plant in a clay soil and you put under the rain, rain is coming today, tomorrow. Before you know, your rosemary plants will die. Before you know, your thyme will die. Let me tell you, basil can withstand water more. Mint can withstand water more. But if you plant like rosemary and thyme, they don't like too much water. If you water them too much, or if you put them under direct rain, and rain is falling continuously, before you know, you have root rot because the rain will be too much for them. Then they will wither. They will rot from the root. Then they will die. Yes. So sometimes I advise people in the rainy season still keep your plants a little bit away from direct rain. Yes, because you might forget and rain will beat it today, tomorrow, next tomorrow before you know. it will die. So they don't like too much water, most especially rosemary, thyme. They don't, before you know, and sage too. Rosemary, thyme, sage, they can have like they can stress you growing them. And once you're able to grow them, they are very sweet. Or stevia, I think stevia like rain to a very large extent, like water. So stevia won't stress you as such too. So use drainage soil. Like I said, the difference between, see, the main scope of growing herbs and spices is mixing a very good soil. Yes, make sure that your soil is sandy loamy. If it is clay, put enough organic matter like compost, like manure, like leaf, dried leaf. Do you get like your kitchen waste? Let it have good base of organic manure so that the soil can drain. Yes, let the soil drain. Once you water it, after a few minutes, the water has drained, has percolated from the hole down. That's ideal. Anything that makes your soil to be soggy and the water is retaining is not good for your plants. So your soil should be able to drain water. Yes. So use a soil that has good draining, good drainage. If your soil is clay, you want to improve it. If your soil is sandy, perfect. If your soil is loamy, perfect. So you might want to mix sandy, loamy soil together. You could mix the three soil. At least when you mix the clay with it, it makes your soil to be able to retain more water, and that is better off for people in far north. So the kind of soil mixture you want to get if you are in Lagos should be a little bit different from what you want to get when you are in Jos, and should be a little bit different from what you get when you are in the far north. So just know what work for you. In Lagos, there's more water almost every time, most especially in the rainy season. Yes. So here the rain is good and just okay. Far north, you see that you have erratic rain. You get, and the water there is not so plenty. So when you have some clay soil that could retain water in your soil mixture, at least a little bit more is better off for you. But for people like that are in Lagos, sandy loam is perfect for you. Or if you are using all this imported soil and this treated soil, they will still do very well for you. The more porous your soil, the better for your herbs and spices. Next slide, please. Next slide. Are you there, please? Thank you. Harvesting and maintenance. Let's take basil for example. Basil. Let's take it for example. You grow basil like from seedlings. You bought it. Oh, okay. Let me quickly talk about the. I don't know if it's in my slide in the front. I'm not so sure. But let me just quickly talk about it. There are two main source of procuring your seedlings, herbs, spices, or any plants you want to grow. Asexual propagation or sexual propagation. Sexual propagation is when you have the seeds. That's the end product of sexual propagation is the seed. Asexual propagation is when you can maneuver to reproduce, to propagate your plants through stem cutting, through marcotting, through layering, through shearing, and what have you. Yes. So let's say you get your basil from stem cutting. The stem has been cut, was sold to you as seedlings. It's like a young juvenile plant. You planted it, it started coming up, maybe in a container or on the land. Okay. After like a month of planting, a small, a tender basil, you can start harvesting. You don't need to wait till it is very big. What that does is that once you start harvesting your herbs, most herbs they are in a family Lamiaceae, or they could be in Vabenaceae or other family. Might say like or other family. Um, but majorly Lamiaceae or Vabenaceae. So most plants in that category, they have something they call opposite leaves. That means one leaf will be here, one leaf will be here. So when you cut, there's a node. They are the axil where a leaf is joining to the stem. There's a node there. That's a potential growing bud for another stem or another branch to come up. So when you cut your plant like a month, your basil in a month, you cut it. When you cut it, it brings out a branch here, it brings out a branch here, it grows fuller from one single basil that is growing up. The same thing as rosemary. From one single, you cut it from here, then it's able to bring another branch. So it's grow bushier. That's what I call it. It spreads out. So when you cut most of your herbs, they tend to grow bushier. If it is your spices, the turmeric, the ginger, and so on, you don't have to cut them. Yes, you keep those ones as long as 6, 7, 8 months. You can keep your ginger as long as 8 months before you can harvest it. But herbs, they are fast. You cut them, they spread out because you're harvesting the leaves. They grow bushier. Knowing how to cut. Yes, you need to know how to cut when you harvest, like when you're supposed to harvest. And don't harvest by dragging it or by just pinching anyhow. Harvest with a sharp object, either with a knife or a scissors. A sharp cut so that you don't distort the stem, and it might not be a point of weakness for that plant. That plant could die from that point. It could. Most of the time it won't die, but it could die when you harvest wrongly. So you want to cut sharp, you want to cut neat, then that's good. Then when you prune, then it prevents overgrowth. It doesn't make your plant to grow too explosively. Sometimes you don't even want to use that plant, but you prune it. Then you can dash your neighbor, or you can now put it on the ground. That means you want to, that's your stem cutting. You could regenerate your herbs, then you multiply. From one single herbs, there's one video that on my page, I think is I sent to the moderator. It's just the title of the video is just the secret of gardeners gardener's secrets. What I was talking about in that video is that from one single rosemary, if you are smart, after a few months, you can end up getting like 7, 8, 9, 10 rosemaries. Yes. What do you do? Stem cutting. When you see that the thing has grown bushier, you cut the stems, then you plant them, remove the down leaf, stick them on the ground in a soil, good soil, keep them under a shade. When you notice that it has started growing new life, then you take them under the sun. The sun will trigger them more and makes them to spread out more. Mind you, as you do that, you have to be watering it regularly. Yes. So from one rosemary plant, from one time plant, you can multiply. You can start a business with this. This is what horticulturists do. People that are doing herbs and spices, I feel like they are lazy people because you have 10 plants before you know can multiply to 100. They always have this big plant that they call the mother plant. Once it grows again, they cut it, they multiply a lot from that. That's how you continue to multiply, and you have thousands from just few plants that you bought from the beginning. You can be selling, you can be dashing out, you can do anything you want to do with it. You have an independent plant anyway. So do as you wish. Replace old plants when needed. Okay. What I mean by old plants is herbs and spices. They are perennials. I don't think there's any of them that is annual. Uh, they could, but I think that maybe I can't remember right now. There could be any, but most herbs and spices: rosemary, thyme, basil, cumin, chamomile, coriander, like cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, and so. Okay, you can say ginger and turmeric and kind of annual because you can harvest them now. Then you keep the comb, you regenerate. Do you get that's for the spices? You can say the annual, and sometimes some people will leave their home for more than a year before they harvest it. So after harvesting and maintenance, we are on the next slide. Um, Harvest regularly to encourage growth. Prune. Okay, still the same slide. Sorry. Prune regularly, at least to prevent overgrowth. And then the conclusion, under this conclusion, please come back. I still have a lot to talk about. Let's come to the conclusion. Let me just conclude with this slide. Then I will now talk about herbs and spices like holistically. Conclusion: home gardening of herbs and spices is easy, fun, and rewarding. With all the things I've said in this presentation, you all know that it is rewarding, it is fun because you'll be seeing so many things happening. You see your plants today, maybe 2 centimeter. After a week, it has gone to 5 centimeter. It's fun. It's therapeutic. Sometimes walking in your garden is very fun. So I think this is the conclusion of this particular slide. We might want to play one or two video. I don't know if she's ready for that. But before that, let me talk about propagation or multiplication of herbs and spices. Again, I think that part is very interesting. Um, like I said, from one plant you could get 10 plants. Let's say you have a rosemary. The way they grow like this. If you cut it, it brings out two branches. Those two branches, then if they grow significantly, then you cut them again, they bring out more. What you want to do is that you want to cut your plant so that it has buttress, at least so that it has multiple branch. If it has one branch, you won't harvest more. But once you have multiple branches, this time, if you cut this time, spread out, then it grow bushier for you. Mhm. So it grows bushier. Propagation of herbs and spices, um, most of the time, they are seeds. See that you are planting by seeds or by stem cutting. But in Nigeria, they are easy to grow. It's just like you going to Lagos. How do I? Is there any other road that they follow from Ogun State to Lagos? It's close, all right? You know, Ogun State. They've even entered each other. It's just like you want to go to Lagos from Ogun State. You don't want to pass through Ibadan, Osogbo, and so on, or Oshun. You don't need that. So the reason why we don't dwell in using seeds for propagation of herbs most of the time in Nigeria is that growing them by stems is even easier. So you don't even need the seeds, and most of the time they don't end up seeding fast. Before you see them bringing out seeds, they bring out flower, and that's like when you don't cut your plant for like more than a year before they now bring out seeds. And for the imported seeds, you can see some rosemary, imported rosemary seeds, and so, and the ones that is planted from stem cutting here, you see that the one from stem cutting is even faster. So what am I saying in essence? Propagating of herbs is very easy, and spice too, to a very large extent, is easy. Let me tell you how to multiply your uh, your garlic. If you buy a garlic, you see that they are like blocks of bulbs that are fused together. If you remove them from one bulb, from one big garlic, you can remove up to like 50 small bulbs, depending on how big it is. It could be 25, it could be 20, it could be less, it could be more. So from one bulb, when you remove it, those bulbs are individual garlic. So if you plant it on the ground, after a few months, 4 5 months, it will swell up and become bigger. That's multiplication. You see that you don't even need to buy seed for you to be able to grow garlic. For ginger, you don't need to buy seed to grow ginger. You buy ginger from the market, it's big. Then you now cut it into two, three, or four. You use some in your house. Then that particular part that you see that is bringing out another node, it looks like eye. We call it eye or bud. If you plant that ginger, put it on the ground. That ginger that you used to cook, the fresh one, allow you to sit in your kitchen a little bit, keep it in a cupboard. You see that it's bringing out small bud from one part of it. Plant it on the ground. In 8 months, you have a multiplied ginger, plenty. The same thing as turmeric. The rhizome of the turmeric that we're using, the one you buy, the one you dry, the one you use, the one you grate, that's the same one you plant. Yeah, it's not even the leaf. So let's say you buy an handful of turmeric, you can multiply this and get times 10 of this after 6 7 8 months. Plant that same rhizome on the ground. That's how you multiply, how you regenerate your spices. You get, that's how you regenerate. Chili pepper, you all know now that when you buy pepper, the seed inside, you can extract it, dry it, and plant it. Why do you dry? One of the, if you don't dry it, you still grow. But for people that want to do in large quantity, one of the reasons why you dry your seed before you plant, so that when your seed is very wet, it is easy for them to bring uh, mold, or for fungi to attack them, or for nematode on the ground. Do you get inside the soil? So that is why when you are going commercial, you could dry. if it's home gardening, and you just most home gardenings are, unless you're taking it so professionally, try and error, just doing your thing freely, and before you know, when you buy your chili pepper and you've used the main part, take few seeds out like that, just drop it on the ground. Before you know, get good encounter with the soil, good soil, it germinate, you have an independent chili plant. Yes. So that's how regenerate your spices. Regenerating herbs most of the time is stem cutting. Even stevia, that's the sweetest plant in the whole world. Regenerating it is easy. Do the stem cutting, put it in a good soil, keep it in a shade for like 3 weeks or thereabouts. Then you notice that this plant has started bringing out at least leaf. When I say shade, I don't mean exclusive shade, a partial shade. Then when it brings out small leaves, you notice that okay, oh, this plant has started giving out life. Then you take it to full sun to trigger the growth more. Herbs and spices like full sun. Partial shade sometimes, but full sun is the best for them. And when you put them in full sun, you water quite well. Okay, so
They
as
don't
of
taste scent
propagation.
or size as those under full sun. The sunnier, the better. Do you know that mint leaf is one of the easiest unproblematic herbs you can grow? If you keep your rosemary or thyme under a shade, they don't taste, scent, or size as those under full sun. The sunnier, the better. Do you know that mint leaf is one of the easiest unproblematic herbs you can grow? It grows easily in most climes. I would recommend you start your garden journey with it. Do you know most vegetables and herbs do better in dry season than rainy season? What does that tell you? It simply means too much water or overwatering is bad for your herbs and vegetables. So water moderately, most especially if you grow your plants in a cloggy soil. Do you know if you plant a tree today, you are saving the world much more than our politicians? You are nature's real MVP. My name is Mr. Green. Keep following this page for more plant tips.
Thank
Takes
you for
an
playing that
average
video.
of 2 to 3 months to maturity from seeds, and that's based on the variety of tomato you planted. Tomato is one of the most problematic plants you can find around, and for the home gardeners, here are a few tips of tomato cultivation. Week 1, the seed you sow should be germinating. Week 3 to 4, transplant your tomato seedlings in a fertile soil. At week 5, apply wood ash. Apply manure or fertilizer at week 6 or 7. Apply wood ash again at week to curb bacterial wilting. Keep all this routine going. Keep watering your tomato every day or at least 4 times in a week. Note, if you notice your tomato plant leaves coily like this, you most likely need water. Or if you see that the leaf is turgid and fully open, that means your tomato plant is saturated with water. Start spraying your tomato plant early enough with organic or inorganic pesticide as the case may be. That's for preventive or curative spray. Popular diseases on tomato are bacterial wilting, leaf miner, stem borer, and tuta. That's tuta absoluta. Wood ash or limestone will reduce bacterial wilting. Neem oil, rabbit urine, dominator, or cypermethrin will reduce stem borers or leaf miners. Ampligo, tuta force, tuta agrochemical will reduce tuta. That's tuta absoluta disease. At least week 10 or 12 or thereabouts, you should be harvesting your tomato. If you face any further complication, you can consult your specialist. Of course, you can ask me too. My name is Mr. Green, and don't thank me. I'm just doing my job. I've been cheating you guys since. Now they don't catch me. I've been beating you and be robbing me for pata. Now, they say I should confess my sins.
Why I was busted by police. What's my crime? I have been cutting, growing or grown herbs and spices and be selling it to Nigerians. When I got my first spice few years ago from a garden, I got rubbers or leathers like these. Then I made hole at the bum. Then I fill with soil. Good soil mixed with manure. I was smart enough to know that one of the secrets of this success is sandy loamy soil. Then I went ahead to make cuttings from the seedlings I bought. I was smart enough to know where to cut from 5 to 8 centimeters from the tip. You can cut it with any sharp object or your nail. Just make sure it's a sharp cut. Sharp cut that won't stress the mother plant. Then I went ahead tomato plant, add water, then carry everything and go and keep under a shade. Keep it there for like 2 to 3 weeks. At this time, they should be forming root already. Then I transfer them under the sun because herbs like direct sun to grow better. I knew the main success of any plant multiplication is rooting. If you are able to root any plant, you have multiplied it successfully. I was doing this day and night. I knew this cutting propagation will work for some herbs and spices and won't work for some. Check the screen to see the list of herbs and spices you can multiply by cutting. Dear customer, you too, you can multiply some of your spices anytime you buy seedlings from a plant pausing. Yeah. So that when you lose the mother plant, you can have some backup. Now don't cry to my head again and lost my rosemary plant. I will ask you, where are your backups? Now that I've shown you this OT, let me go and start my J-Thyme in peace.
Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful videos or for the wonderful videos. Thank you. This just bring it to my knowledge. I've not spoken anything about belief, yes, and that still made me remember I've not spoken about how you can propagate in water. Those terms that you cut, most herbs and spice, most herbs, like specifically, I think I've tried stevia. It has not given results, but rosemary, thyme, oregano, mint, most especially, when you cut these stems, instead of you to plant them directly on the ground, if you just cut the stem, then you put them in a water, a clear water, keep them around the window. The reason why you keep them in a window side is so that the light, you can get encountered with light easily, right? Not maybe in a very shaded place, like a window. After like 3 days, change the water, before you change water like 4 times, you see that it is rooting, it's bringing out roots. Yes, so it's that easy. It's bringing out root already. So you can root them in water. And for plant like bay leaf, it is so easy to propagate by stem cutting. If you cut bay leaf like 10 and plant it, you hardly get like 2 or 3 survive after a long time. So one of the way of multiplying or regenerating bay leaf is what we call air layering or macculting. Air layering or macculting is when you are able to remove the bark. You gotta do it. That's the professional word. You gotta do all debacking. You debug the plants, removing the cambium layer. Then you leave the internal stem. Then you are now able to put some earth material. Earth material could be good soil, it could be compost, it could be rice bran and sawdust, weathered one, the ones that are decayed, mixed together or in their independent nature. You put it around that branch. That branch is still on the mother body. You can read more about macculting or about hair layering. The same name, hair layering, macculting is one of their essential propagation is used to regenerate plants that have strong head. Because there are some plants, once you cut them, they do well by stem cutting. But if you cut it and put it in a good soil, they don't germinate. So I think I put one, there's one, you can look for one picture among the picture I sent to you. There's one plant that I put the roots there. There's roots. You can just check it. So let me continue talking about my cutting. So you cut it. Once you sorry, you put the earth material, then you tie. You could tie with a leather. There are some sophisticated equipment that they are selling. You don't really need that because even I don't use that. It's just for people that want to do paparazzi online. So because if you have a very big farm, you wouldn't be using that. Yes. So you could just find a leather or like plastic and put it around that place so that it will hold the earth material, the soil, or any other thing used close to that place and allow it to be there for like months. If it is peak of dry season, you might want to be putting water on it because you perforate that place. You might want to be putting water on it once in a while. This is very vague to you, you can go and check my page. I've made video about my cotton. So after 3 months, you will notice if you are using a clear stuff like as your base, what you used to hold the thing, you will notice that the thing has formed root has come out. That's when you now disconnect, detach, separate the plant from the mother body. That plant has turned to an independent plant. Bay leaf is hard to regenerate, to multiply normally, but with macculting you'll be able to multiply your bay leaf. There are plants that are very very hard to multiply normally. Most herbs and spices, they are very easy. Bay leaf, at least, is still part of the spice now. So it is hard to multiply. This is how you can multiply your bay leaf. Every other plant in that falls in this category of herbs and spices, or most of them, they are easy to multiply. It's just based on your care. Okay, let me do this now. I've said it. One thing I tell people whenever I'm talking about plants is you don't have to look at plant as a big deal. You're going to make mistakes, quite all right. But just start with any resources you have. With 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, based on your capacity, you can acquire some plant and start growing. Put your interest in it. Once you kill a plant, you want to ask yourself, why did I kill this plant? Overwatering, underwatering, it's not kept in the sun. I over manure it. The way I harvested it wasn't good. I put hot water. And again, contrary to a popular opinion, you can water your plant in the afternoon. Yes, you can water your plant in the afternoon. Some people say early in the morning and late in the evening. The reason why that is recommended. But for we that have plenty plants, if you want to water your plant starting from like let's say 7, 8 o'clock, and you don't end up starting, and your plant is plenty. So once the sun has come out around 12, you I say, no, I don't want to water again. Where I did service in Jos here, it's all green gardens, one of the biggest gardens in Jos. They have 2 wells there. The recharging rate of the well is kind of low. So I think she dug another one. That's 3 wells eventually. So the well, they will use pumping machine to pump the water. And once the water finish, they go to the second well. Then they go to the other well. Let's say you came late to the garden, the sun has come out. You're supposed to pump water from that well and water. Then you now say, no, it's afternoon. You can't water your plant, and your plant is suffering. Do you get? Or for we sometimes that we have open feed farm that when you start watering it take like 5, 6 hours before you finish. Maybe you start by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, then you finish by 2. Then by around 1, you now say, no, sun is hot now, I can't water again. You off. No. What it means is that if you water in the afternoon for people that have small plants, the rate of evapotranspiration is high. Do you get? And if it's a very tender plant, and sun has hit it, the soil is very hot, and the water you are putting to is now hot, that could make that plant to die. For most plants that are already established, that are doing fine, water them in the hot afternoon, good. There are times that I'll just get see my tomato. I planted some tomato in buckets. I'll see that the leaf is looking flaccid. Hot afternoon, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I put water, they kick off, they are doing very well. So what I'm saying is that you can water. I'm just trying to debunk some misinformation and like give you a good re-establishment. So you don't need to have plenty money to start growing things. You can grow in a bucket, broken buckets. You can grow in sacks, in cement sacks. You can grow in those broken rubbers, cups from your kitchen, upcycle things. Do you get? So you can grow in anything. Just start anyhow. The main thing is having the interest of starting. Start small. You learn more along the line. Then you can now make it more tush. You can now put your big boyism or your big girlism in it, having very fancy pods and so on and so forth. But at least start small. Build your interest. Build your interest in have the passion. Build your interest. Start something today. You learn more and become better along the line. So that's that. And I don't know if you have questions for me. If I need to talk about one or two, I'll definitely talk about it. Um, because I just want to talk as much as possible. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense. I don't know. So
Thank you so much, Mr. Green. You have shared exhaustively. Like you have gone beyond the syllabus. So you shared exhaustively. At this point, it is just clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping in the chats for you. And I think that your video on, you have been caught and what is your crime, it made a lot of people sort of just laugh, but I believe that they got the message out of it, which is most of these herbs and spice, they are regenerative, which is if you get them, you can definitely multiply them without having to go back again to, maybe buy the seedlings and things like that. So thank you so much for sharing. There is no questions in the chat for you, but it's just like applaud, 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 applaud for you on the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Green. And please do share your I know you're very active on Instagram. So please do share your Instagram handle so that most of our community people can
The net,
definitely follow you. Can you hear me? Share your
the
Instagram.
network
Oh, okay. Sorry
is
about that. Share your Instagram handle so that community members
it's not.
can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I'm putting it here.
Okay. So share it so that community people can definitely follow you. And guys, trust me, he shares a lot of interesting. Yes. So it is at Green Fit Farms on Instagram. I want to believe he's also on Facebook as well. He shares a lot of comic videos about planting, about agriculture, about horticulture. Mr. Green is your guy. He shares a lot, and he shares them in a very comic way that sends the message across. Definitely you want to check out his page and definitely follow him as well on Instagram to get much more updates on everything horticulture, everything agriculture, and everything planting. Yes. So thank you so much, Mr. Green, for being our amazing facilitator on this week's edition of the Operation Feed the Nation Challenge. And thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise and insights on how to grow herbs and spice at home. And you've done so much justice to this subject in question. Thank you guys. And thank you everybody that stayed from the beginning of this session till the end. If you're yet to follow our page, please do that. Follow our page, subscribe, drop a comment. And also, if there are key areas you would like us to talk about or bring guests on to come share about, please feel free to drop a comment for us and we'll be able to make that happen. Mr. Green, do you have any final I can't hear you now. I don't know if you're mute. Do you have any final admonition to our young Nigerians or young people?
You can't
No,
hear
it's
me.
very faint. I can hear you now. Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, maybe I think it's network. I don't like the fact that network is not treating me very well. Most of your comments I could not hear well. It was
It's
just
okay.
skipping.
You understand?
I'm not happy about that.
Oh, so I was saying that. Oh, okay,
I want
I'll
to
tell
be
you
able to.
again. The community members definitely love your show and your videos, particularly the
How
one that talked about, you committed a crime. It was very hilarious, but I believe they got the message.
how do you know?
And so I was just telling them to go follow you so that they can get more updates like
Is it,
that. He shares a lot of agricultural content in a very comic and hilarious way, fun-filled way that you enjoy his content. And so before we wrap up today, Mr. Green, do you have any sort of admonition or advice or counsel for any young person that is, a bit hesitant in taking advantage of this backyard farming challenge that we are doing?
yeah. I think this is another. Uh, I have been invited to talk to youths about life, about gardening. So there's a post I made yesterday. I was supposed to put it out today. But I guess maybe tomorrow it should be my second post tomorrow, maybe in the evening or so. So what I spoke about is majorly is starting small. Like I spoke about a friend of mine that was supposed to. He said he has this idea in his about content, and
Okay.
will not bring it to life. So I'm sure that he's trying to look for a perfect time for it. No, and now he's married. He has kids. He might want. He might not be reality again. So the main thing about that video, starting small, start
Yeah.
anyhow, have the interest, have the zeal, just start. Then along the line you get better. Like I spoke about my content. If you go down my page, you see a lot of comments. Now, am I best? No, I'm heading somewhere better. I'm going to be greater. If I do not die, you get. So, but you all started from somewhere. then challenges, competition, like I want to be better. No. One thing I say to myself, sometimes I've had maybe two, three, four content that have gone viral. No. Well, even if my post does not go viral, one of my friends, she's a very good friend of mine. Like she's doing very well online too. The grocery lady, she we're very close. Like she's in Jersey too. So sometimes when she makes posts, I'm like, post, I just want it to go further. I'll be like, no, me. If I make a post and that post does not do well, I'm thinking of making another post. If that other post that I'm thinking of, if I make it and it doesn't do well, I'm thinking of making another post. That's me. Just start and keep building, keep you continue to get bigger in anything you're doing. Any field of area you find yourself, you continue to get better. Just start. Have the interest, have the direction, have the passion. Start. The same thing about home gardening, keeping plants in your house from one plant to two plants to three plants to four plants. Experience will get better.
Mm,
Don't look for
yeah.
convenient. Just start with the little resources. The way resources will be coming to you sometimes, you'll be shocked. Honestly, the way they will just be coming because you'll be planning, you'll be thinking, instead of you to let it come, fire thing to yourself. People will be looking at you as a successful person, but if they hear your story or Yoruba, they say adding one or two together, then become something significant. And I always advise youth start growing something. The plants that you grow yourself, you know how you grow it. Even though it's small, it's
Yeah.
not that big. It's quite better than the plant that is grown by someone else that you bought or that is given to you. Yes.
Mm,
So the more you reduce your spending and you blend into nature, sometimes just go around plants instead. Yes. Sometimes my mind is hard. You cannot break my heart because if you break my heart, I'll go and meet my plant. They will console me. So I don't get heartbroken. My plants are my friends. They are my solace.
yeah.
Do you understand? So I think you as a youth there don't mean is think you can be a Gen Z, you can be a farmer. Do you get?
Yeah.
There are so many technologies growing of plant simple. So grow things in your house, in your backyard. You don't need to land. Containerize. Do you get? Improvise. Make it fun. So that's it majorly. I don't know the numbers of people
Thank,
that
thank
in
you.
the so
So we,
happy
we
like to do this. I like to talk about plant. I like to express myself, and I like to.
continue.
How, how come? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How come your place is brighter than mine? Are you closer to heaven or to paradise much more than I am?
It's aesthetics. It's ring lights. So there are lots of ring lights. That's why.
Oh, I have ring light. I didn't use it. Should I go
Oh,
and?
no, no, no! It's totally fine.
I just
We
just want.
we we are wrapping up. But thank
I,
you very much
I will.
for the point that you shared, which is start small, start with what you have, start from where you are, and eventually you get to make progress. And I like how you talked about, if we go back to check your page, we'll see that you are not as fully equipped as you were right now. But you have grown and you've made progress, you've made changes. And that's to show that there's a bit of evolution that's happened. So for everybody on their journey, even with growing plants, just start with what you have, start from where you are. Thank you so much, Mr. Green, for sharing up with us today. Thank you for your time, your patience, your expertise, despite a bit of network glitch here and there, or you're patient enough with us to continue the teaching. And the chat is just buzzing and they're just giving you their emojis on the chat. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.